Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 5 of season 5 of our F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here, the jewel in the Formula 1 crown. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you missed out on the video that went live earlier on this week from Imola, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was, well, I think it's safe to say the best result we've had so far in this campaign. We took the win around the Emilia-Romagna circuit, finally ending our Imola curse inside this game, and had a lot of fun doing it as well. The car really does feel like it's coming alive in these last couple of weekends, and yeah, hopefully we can try and carry that momentum into Monaco there. George Russell leads the Drivers' Championship ahead of Max Verstappen. Alonso and myself tied on 56 points apiece in P3 and P4. And even a strong result by Oscar Piastri, despite some front wing damage, goes to showcase just how many cars, drivers and teams are in the fight early on in this season as well. Hamilton finally got his first points of the year on the board as well, which means we have now got a 21-point buffer over Ferrari as well in P4 in the championship. But yeah, returning though to Monaco this weekend, this of course is the Grand Prix that every driver always wants to win as well, and it looks like Aston Martin are going to be the one that has to obviously remove an upgrade this weekend. It's a decent system, so obviously if we head back over to the R&D menu, you can see they go from first down to third. Now I believe they get that upgrade back at the end of the weekend, so hopefully at some point this year we'll have the best car and I can really sort of show you guys how it works as well. In fact, just quickly we'll have a look. We might actually try and put an upgrade on the car as well. We'll go with that one ready for the Canadian Grand Prix next time out as well. But yeah, get yourself subscribed if you're new around here as well. We're trying to hit 140k by the end of the year. And yeah, let's head out then here into qualifying.
Not all qualifying sessions are created equal. From the moment that a driver sits in a go-kart, they want to end up here in the pit lane, ready and raring for qualifying at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Well, this is the most important qualifying session of the year, and I would love to try and get a big result this weekend for the team. We did well, obviously, last time at Imola to finally get our first win on the board. But yeah, I think to try and get the win here would be even more special and really then prove ourselves and the team the work they have put in the early rounds of the campaign. That being said, though, Verstappen you would expect to be strong. This has often been a track that suits Aston Martin as well inside these games, but obviously we broke our Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix curse last weekend. We broke our Monaco curse last season here and never finished the Monaco Grand Prix inside F124 just through bad luck and a few other bits and pieces not going our way. Until finally, yeah, we walked away not only with a finish, but the victory as well. They were trying to shut the car through the chicanes. It's really this second half of the lap where I feel like we can come alive there, throwing the car up against the wall through the exit of Tabak, through the exit of the chicane we go. It was looking like it's going to be us versus Verstappen in the fight for pole position there. One more corner through Anthony Noakes, nice and easy on the throttle on the exit. Verstappen's going to do it, but we again improve, and this weekend it is P2 on the grid. Well, there we go then. I thought this would be a good track for McLaren, but apparently not. George Russell nowhere to be seen around your top 10, but Verstappen does a 108.4 there. We less than 2 tenths away with Alonso in P3. So this gives, yeah, I mean, all three of us at the front an opportunity to take big points out of George Russell in the championship. He'll find himself alongside our teammate Lewis Hamilton, setting identical times there of a 109.1. Barely ahead of the Williams Kick Saubers and Yuki Tsunoda in his Alpine. Russell's got his work cut out. We just want to try and stay near the front of the field.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863, and of course a certain road race first held in 1929. There is no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill past the casino and then descend towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of 19 corners, so don't expect to see much overtaking here today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Sainz, Gasly, Norris, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Iwasa, Fittipaldi, Hamilton, Russell, Albon, Tsunoda, Behrman, Vesti, Joe, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Well, I cannot believe that Max Verstappen then, his bad luck set to continue this weekend. Grid penalties have ruined his pole position lap, and he will line up all the way down in P10 there. Russell as well, of course, outside the top 10, so suddenly it's Alonso and I, both 12 points back from the championship lead, that have got a huge opportunity this afternoon to try and get back to the top of the standings there. Alonso has 2 wins to his name. We have 1 win to ours so far, and I'm going to opt for the soft compounded tyre just to try and hang on in towards turn 1 there. 39 laps ahead of us, though, around the Monte Carlo circuit. It is 5 red lights here on the grid. And it is lights out, and away we go there, trying to manage the wheel spin as best as we can on the run in towards turn 1. Look at that, Alonso already trying to attack us. And he's completely hooked me. And he's put us in the wall. What on earth is that from Fernando Alonso?
Okay,
as we got a red flag instantly. That might well be the quickest red flag I've ever had inside F124. I would assume pretty much everybody further back is in the same order.
This is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
Well, I hadn't factored in the idea that we could just go hards to the end, but basically now this has turned into like the real-life Monaco Grand Prix, with a red flag on lap 1. Will we be able to do anything, though, against the Spaniard this time around, starting on the outside? Waiting once more, then. 5 red lights here on the grid. It's going to be lights out, and away we go there. And once again, Alonso seems to just get a slightly better start in towards turn 1. We will try and go around the outside of Sergio Perez there, as Oscar Piastri will say thank you very much as well. But yeah, not a fan of Alonso's driving through turn 1.
They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
I mean, I feel we were pretty lucky not to lose a wheel in all of that, because that was 2 fairly big hits of the Armco barrier. I don't know whether we've got any underfloor damage or anything like that, but oh, come on, this low speed wheel spin in this car is impossible to try and manage there. Oscar, steady on. Everybody making errors early on.
Might make a mistake.
And well, that has been a very, very scary opening lap then here of Monte Carlo. So from what was effectively first all the way down to P3 then, Oscar Piastri, he will try and go in pursuit of Fernando Alonso at the front of the order. But yeah, that was, I've certainly never had anything like that before in the F1 cars inside F124.
Time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
Let's see if we can try and attack, though, Oscar Piastri over these next couple of laps. So, of course, we're going to have to be careful with the tyres here because, you know, nobody else is going to pit. So we've got to be really careful.
The car ahead, get ready to use DRS for the overtake.
Obviously, we've seen it before on this game. I struggle with tyre wear, obviously, just from nudging up against the barriers and things like that around this circuit. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case today. I really do not want to spend all afternoon staring at the back of those Ferraris. There we go, the fastest lap. Goes to showcase just how quick this car can be around this circuit as well when we get the lap nailed there. But it looks like everybody kind of in your top group all trying to go super aggressive early on, trying to apply pressure to each other. Can we have a look down the inside? Oh, a little bit of wheel banging there with Oscar Piastri, as we are going to go wheel to wheel down through the hairpin as well. Can we just try and keep the car there? This is aggressive stuff early on. We've not... Well, there's been a little bit of contact, but it's been pretty clean and tidy. Still wheel to wheel as we make our way through the tunnel as well then. So will the Australian on the inside line be able to get the car stopped? Oh, there's more contact, but we'll make it through in the end. Oscar Piastri, I think, slapped the wall on the exit there, trying to slot in line. We've lost plenty of time to Fernando in the process, but that is critical for us. That proves we can make overtakes today. Now we've got to try and catch back up with the Spaniards and not hit the wall. Well, let that another fastest lap serve as a reminder to Alonso as to just how hungry I am to win back-to-back races here. I'm sure it's happened before. I just could not tell you who. Back-to-back wins at Monaco with different teams. Since Senna never managed it. He did... yeah, no, I don't think he managed it, did he? Obviously won in 1986, but then failed to finish in 1987. I'm trying to think. Surely someone will have to tell me down in the comments below. I'm sure someone has. But I just can't think who it would have been. But as we get to 1/3 distance then, your brain starts to go through all the hypotheticals that could be apparent in a race like this. And I'm looking... Looks like Alonso has got about an extra 3/10 a lap in the pocket over Oscar Piastri. He's already got about a 7-second lead. Now you lose about 18-19 seconds here by going for a pit stop. If Alonso and I could open up a big enough buffer, could we try and go onto like a set of the softs or the mediums towards the end, and then try to have a huge tyre delta to get around the Spaniard? I mean, first and foremost, we need to try and close up to him. But yeah, Alonso and I are both just pulling away from the rest of the runners. That could be a strategy if we get a big enough margin. Well, Alonso seems to be trying to up his pace every single lap at the moment, perhaps just sensing about how quickly we are closing in. Either that or the team is just updating him on the gap each and every lap, and maybe the Spaniard has got the same idea as me. But I mean, yeah, I mean, both of us know, obviously, unless something crazy happens, whichever of us it is that wins this race will take the lead at the top of the championship. Obviously, he had a disastrous run last weekend at Imola. Obviously, picked up front wing damage straight after his pit stop. And that annoyingly meant for him that, yeah, he was left to trundle home in about P17. We've still scored points in every single race this campaign. Doesn't mean to say it's gone perfectly for us, though. Couple of mistakes, especially in Japan. So, yeah, Alonso and I, two similar tales.
Okay, and that's a red
What?
flag.
Hey, we've got a red flag again.
Delta positive, and let's have you straight to the pit lane, please.
I think a Hascar's gone for a spin, and that's what's brought out the red flag there. But, yeah, another one then coming out in this Grand Prix. And that, again, tips the strategy on its head, because I would assume now we'll all try and go mediums to the flag.
Get a nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
Oh, do I gamble it? I think we've got to try and gamble it, haven't we? We want to try and go onto the Excuse me? I do not want to do like a 6-stop Grand Prix from here on out game. How many of those stints can I remove? There we go. I guess we'll try and take the soft 20 laps to the end of the afternoon. I just want to be able to try and attack Fernando off of the restart yet again. But what a wild race so far it's been here in Monaco. And for the 3rd time today, we have got yet another restart.
Okay. On track. Let's make the best of this restart. Let's go.
Well, softs versus hards. Who's going to get the 5 red light jump? Lights out. Oh, away we go. And Alonso's gone nowhere. Fernando Alonso goes nowhere. Neither does Oscar Piastri. But I see Alonso again will hop over the curbing down at turn 1. And this is our golden opportunity here. Yellow flags out further back. No idea what's going on. It's Oscar Piastri out of the Grand Prix. But we will not back out against Fernando there. Give each other wheel-to-wheel room through the top of the hill there. But into the lead we go once again of the Monaco Grand Prix. I think Oscar Piastri, just like we saw with Lando Norris back in the season opener, after a red flag restart, had that mechanical.
Safety car's been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack. Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Well, 2 red flags and a safety car. This is not like the glitched Brazilian Grand Prix we had at the end of last season. This is just the chaos of Monaco, I suppose. Will we see any of our AI into the pits at the end of this lap? I've got no need to box. Well, it feels like so much has gone on and we're barely a half distance of this race so far, but we are back into prime position here. No idea what's happened to Lewis, but Mercedes are sandwiching the entire field, P1 and P19 there as we make our way through the final couple of corners. We are going to try and release our throttle there nice and easy out of that final turn. Try and get the jump on Alonso as we go green flag racing once again.
Okay to use your overtake button.
Well, the big thing as well for us, of course, is with those safety car laps It means looking at this soft compounded tyre even easier towards the end of the afternoon. But yeah, there is still so much danger, so much that can go wrong. And as always, I'm always fearful of a mechanical failure. Oh, we've got yellows, we've got yellows. Who is that breaking down? Don't say that's Alonso. It is! Fernando Alonso looks to be dropping out of the Monaco Grand Prix then. So how dramatic would this have been had he still been leading this race? Of course, for those of you that don't know, mechanical failures are predetermined. The game goes into a weekend and has already decided who will have a mechanical failure. Now, that in itself is completely random, as far as I'm aware. But that is huge. Fernando Alonso, our second casualty of the afternoon, is going to bump his teammate Lance Stroll up into the podium places. V-Carb now a P4 and P5. But Alonso out of the Monaco Grand Prix, and suddenly all three of our championship rivals have had terrible weekends. Well, as sad as that is for Fernando, it does work out quite nicely for me. Not only are we under less pressure from seemingly the only man that was on pace with us all weekend, but normally, and I really don't want to jinx myself by saying this,
there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
the game will predetermine and pick two drivers normally that'll get a mechanical failure during a GP. We've lost Alonso, we've lost Oscar Piastri, although I don't want to say it with absolute confidence. I'm hoping that should mean we can see the checkered flag.
Okay, we've got a full
What?
caution.
We got another
Safety
one.
Cars out. Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta.
Well, I think again, a Haas car has gone round in this Grand Prix, and this time around they seem to be a bit more stuck down at the hairpin there. They are going to get back going again, but I don't genuinely know at the time of this whether it's the same Haas, the other Haas, or what's going on, but we've got another safety car here in Monaco, and again, it just means looking after these soft tyres towards the end is ever so slightly easier. Well, I reckon we haven't had more than 10 clean laps running so far this afternoon, and we're not going to get it. We're just 10 laps to go.
If we exceed it, keep that in mind as you approach.
Yeah, I'm definitely not pitting, Mark. I don't know what you're on about, sir. But anyway, through the final corners again, once more, we are going to lead the way as we go green flag racing once again here in Monte Carlo. Again, we've had another pretty clean, tidy start.
11.7 seconds.
I mean, look at Perez. He's really been able to work himself up the order today, just by kind of avoiding chaos and carnage as well. Imagine if we made an error or had a mechanical failure or something, and it was Checo that ended up taking Red Bull's first victory of the campaign. That'd be quite a story. I genuinely cannot remember the last time Sergio Perez won a race on this game, but it must have been a long, long time ago. We've got 9 laps left though, the Monaco Grand Prix. We just want to try and hang on for win number 2. But I tell you one thing I have learned, of course, it's a bit weird where we've only driven with Ferrari power units up to this point inside F124. A lot of people don't realise this, but they do all have very, very different characteristics and aspects to them. I think this season, genuinely, apart from the Williams Road to Glory that I stream on Twitch, I think this season genuinely is the only time I've really used Mercedes power inside this game. Of course, I've used Honda power with Gary in co-op. Obviously, I've used Ferrari power in every other season of this series. And in our My Team career mode, we use Renault engines. The Mercedes is far and away the smoothest in terms of its delivery off of corners. Of course, you don't really get that in the Williams because it's so loose on traction because it's still running a very low downforce setup for some reason inside this year's game. But yeah, with the exception of the low speed traction, which I think is just more my driving than the actual power unit, by far and away this engine has been the easiest to drive here at Monaco. And I mean, as long as we can bring this home, gotta be really odd. Mercedes power is going to win all 5 races so far in this campaign, but none of the teams have proven to be particularly dominant, not even the Mercedes factory team. Well, earlier on in this race, I was thinking back to, it must have been 2007, the last time Fernando Alonso would have won this Grand Prix. And I mean, in this hypothetical universe, we're technically now in 2028. Imagine if he'd walked away with the Grand Prix victory here 20 years after his last win on these streets. I'm sure eyebrows will be raised down at Aston Martin, the fact that they've had the mechanical failure and we haven't today. But that being said, Hamilton, he had the first Mercedes power unit failure of the year. So yeah, we've certainly just been a bit on the lucky side so far. McLaren, so you know, but to be fair, yeah, McLaren did have one, didn't they? All the way back in Bahrain as well as Williams. So pretty much all the Mercedes teams have had one so far in this campaign as well. But as we round the corners of this last lap of the Monaco Grand Prix, not to discredit any of the other races this season, but this one has probably been the most action-packed. 2 red flags, 2 safety cars, roadblocks galore. It has really been a Monaco Grand Prix that has been about survival as much as anything else. We had that unlucky contact early on in the Grand Prix. Who knows whether that damage on Alonso's car is what caused the mechanical failure. We took the lead back though through some savvy pit calls and red flag restart strategies, and since then we have not looked back as we round our way through the final couple of corners of the Monaco Grand Prix. Back-to-back years, different teams, same driver, same winner. It is P1.
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys!
And it's always good to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everyone played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Well, 103 minutes, according to the game, to complete this Grand Prix for just 39 laps. That's pretty terrible going, actually, in the grand scheme of things there. But back-to-back victories, and I believe with that, we will have taken the World Championship lead as well there. Perez in P2 goes to show why Red Bull have kept him on. Lance Stroll gets his second podium of the year, beating out both of those V-carbs as well there, with Verstappen in at P6. So yeah, after his penalties earlier on, he stayed out of trouble. He probably had the pace to win this one, but yeah, just never in clear air come the rest of the afternoon. Enzo Fittipaldi beats out Tsunoda, and Albon and Behrman for Williams get a double points haul for the team as well. So that is a really, really good job done by Williams as well, and that will mean they should be pretty safe ahead of Sauber in terms of the Constructors' Championship. Lando Norris 14th, George Russell 15th. That is absolutely terrible, but still somehow not as bad as Lewis Hamilton all the way down in P17 there come the checkered flag, with Alonso and Oscar Piastri both failing to see the finish. What does that do, though, to our championship standings? Well, it means we now have a 13-point buffer at the top of the table there. Verstappen now 1 ahead of George Russell. Fernando Alonso, of course, still within that 26-point gap. And you can see, yeah, I mean, Stroll and Perez not a million miles away out of the range either there. But suddenly, out of nowhere, we have gone from, you know, optimistic, maybe we could try and string together a championship run, to top threat and competitor this season. 4 drivers, 4 teams inside your top 4 after the early races of the campaign as well. Constructors-wise, though, despite not winning a single race so far, Red Bull at the top of the table, ahead of Aston Martin there. McLaren not a million miles away, and Mercedes, yeah, further opening that gap up over Ferrari as well. If Hamilton gets his act together, maybe, just maybe, we could fight for the crown. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns, ready, I believe, in Canada.